Welcome to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast, where high-achieving entrepreneurs and leaders come to receive deep, insightful conversations and practical guidance to move from hustle to flow without sacrificing their authentic self and the results. I am your host and Chief Energy Officer, Tammy Cho, a former patient care leader turned international best-selling author, speaker, and face and body analysis expert. Get ready to lead your authenticity, lead your energy, and lead your impact. Hi, and welcome to our very first episode here on the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast in 2025. Thank you so much for tuning in, being here with me today. I appreciate your time, energy, and we get to dive into a really important topic of rewriting our success. Now, often we start the new year diving into the goals, diving into our intentions, and really that word of the year and all these things. But I really want to bring this home for everyone because a big part of this podcast is to really help someone feel joy and fulfillment without needing to do more. And the only way to create that in our reality is to make sure that our goals that we write are aligned to your success, your authentic success. Because it's only when you are in alignment, you're in alignment to what you truly want, that actually makes you feel happy, joy, and satisfaction and fulfillment, where you have the energy to have high performance, you have the energy to feel the harmony within and to have that work-life balance. So I am inviting all of us to this topic of really rewriting your aligned success now. And so where do we start with that? A really important question to ask ourselves is, what does success mean to you? Because this is a question that no one can define except for you. You get to define it. You get to choose what feels in alignment. If you could have anything you want in exactly the way you want, with exactly the people you want, with exactly the feelings that you want, what would that look like? What would that feel like? What would that sound like? I think a lot of times that we write goals and our intentions, we tend to write it from a place that makes sense to us about what makes sense as the next steps to maybe more income, to achieve more impact and influence. And those are all good and wonderful things. But there's a place in this where we need to get into the cracks of it, to get really into the depth of it. Because if we address things at a surface level, it often means that we're operating out of our mind and the mind is running the show. And it's often not operating out of possibility, but probability. So let me ask you, what does success mean to you? And for many of us, we've done some reflection, maybe over December. Maybe you're still doing it now. And if that's the case, I invite you to really dive into the episode 27, the one right before this, where we dive into reviewing the year, bringing the depth into it, to really look at what worked, what didn't, and to go into how to transform what didn't work into new possibilities. So you could expand and bring this into the new year, bring this celebrations, bring the success into the new year, and to take our learnings from that. So if you haven't listened to that episode, I invite you to do that, to tune into, again, the cracks of all of that many of us don't necessarily go into. So I invite you to listen to that episode. Moving forward with now taking all that information that we've contemplated on, reflected on, acknowledged within ourselves, accepted within ourselves, to create a new beginning. And it's really allowing ourselves to define, what does success mean to you? To really explore, when did you actually feel fulfilled in the past year? When did you actually feel happiness? When did you actually feel value aligned? these are the pieces that we reflect on. It's like the harder questions that feel like it stumps us. This is where a lot of my clients, they stop at a certain level and then it's like, that gets really hard. And then oftentimes I send them off and they come back with a bit of a more surfacey answer. They did go a few layers deep. And oftentimes, sometimes we need someone to hold space to really dive in deeper within ourselves. Because our tendencies, our patterns is to go 1, 2, 3 layers deep. But what I've learned is that if you're creating something new and expansive, the deeper you need to go within yourself. The deeper you expand out there, the deeper you gotta expand and go within in here. So I'm going to ask you to do that. I'm going to invite you to really dive deep. What are your values? And do you have more than 3 to 4 values? Because oftentimes we feel like a lot of things are important to us. And it's important to really narrow it down to 3 max to really dive into these pieces. Because you'll find that if you dive into many layers of your values, they often start to join up. You start to create the definitions and it creates and from this place we create our goals with much more ease. We create the how behind our goals with much more ease because we can align it to what is important to us. I had a client once that one of her values was connection, and she would go about running her business really building it on authentic connection. But there was a piece within her that she was not really giving herself, that balance within herself with connection with herself. Whenever we don't give ourselves what we actually need at a deeper level, our values will get mixed up. And when we go about to create impact in our community, we will lean towards a connection which feels truly aligned because it feels like in alignment to building deeper connection with people. However, it will get lopsided because there's the shadow of both sides of our values. And so it's so important to dive deeper within ourselves. What does connection mean for me? Because we can't really give ourselves what we need until we go to these levels and we actually feel it within ourselves. Otherwise, the shadow of our unmet needs within the values that we deem as super important. And on the outside, we are doing it. We're building those connection pieces with our clients. But when it comes down to the outcome, it gets clouded by falling on over connecting versus actually creating the outcome that was in that client's highest, greatest good at that time for her. And when she had that realization, she saw that there was this place to really step into her leadership and her masculine energy in the sense of holding herself and also holding her clients. And so values play such an important role in our performance, getting clear within ourselves what it actually means to us, and to make sure that in that, are there unmet needs within that? So I invite you to really go deep and define what success looks like for you. Within that success, why is that success so important for you? How is this aligning with your values? Because oftentimes what brings us happiness is actually growing. It's our personal evolution. And a lot of people that come to work with me, they have challenges with feeling connected with their vision. It's not that they didn't have that passion and light in their purpose before, but there's a place that they feel disconnected from it all. And so that's a really important piece to look at as you're writing your goals and intention and aligning it to your vision, your success, your definition of success, and your values. All these pieces, it's like, are you feeling connected to them? Are you feeling it in your body? Are you getting excited about it? Are you feeling excited and you find it difficult to actually stay with the feeling of excitement in your body? So these are some really important pieces. Because what many people don't know is that when we desire something and really feel it, we've actually created it in the moment in our body. Because once we desire something, it already shows up in the universe somewhere. Because we live in a reality that favors duality. There's black, white, up, down. There is happy, sad, and all these pieces. And very much like what we're trying to create in our lives in the form of impact and goals, if we desire it, it's already out there. So that's where the pieces of like trust and surrender come in, to know that it's actually already here. But the piece that is important is, can we actually feel it? Is it coming from the mind, or is it operating from the heart space in our embodiment? Right? Can we hold the vision? Can we hold the feeling? Because I pulled a card actually before jumping on to do this podcast, and it's amplifying your positive emotions. And this was really validating for me as I pulled this card, because this is such an important part of rewriting your success. Because part of rewriting your success has a lot to rewriting emotional history, the emotionality that you are leading with, stepping into that emotional and energy leadership. Because guess what? When you allow yourself to be happy and aligned and authentic to what you truly want, that's what pulls things in. And yes, there's these pieces of being connected and tapping into your purpose, your vision around the purpose, your why, feeling that deep connection with it, and then aligning it with the values. All these things are so important to really creating the life you want in the way you want. When you use these concepts to really help you align, and then you're bringing in the positive emotions, the emotionality into it, that's what brings the passion. That's what's going to bring your goals into fruition. It's based on self love, it's based on your connection to feeling the emotions, feeling in love with yourself, feeling alignment, being who we are, and fully expressing that in our goals. A lot of rewriting our success has a lot to bringing more of ourselves to the tables. It's not writing them and then, okay, taking action right away. It often has to come from a place of alignment. Otherwise, we will unconsciously self sabotage. We'll fall back into our level of worthiness to create it. And so please, please do not skip over these core pieces of really rewriting your success in your goals and intentions that you may have created already. And maybe you feel like you aligned it already, but allow yourself to go down a deeper level to really bring the emotionality in. Can you feel the excitement of having it? Are you tapping into the emotionality of it and the energetics of it before taking action? Because that's another really important piece where people are operating from, where you're creating from the energy that you often begin with. This is where energy leadership steps in. Are you able to allow yourself to really amplify those emotions towards the goals that you're wanting to create? And the last piece I want to talk about is really allowing ourselves to measure. Very much like many of us measure our KPIs, we measure our success metrics. I invite you to create a measurement for these places that bring you joy, that bring you fulfillment, that bring you satisfaction. To look at these pieces, is it maybe measuring it by the amount of connection you have with the quality of the connection, the meaningful connections that you have? How many of these did I create? How many people did I mentor? How many podcasts did I go on and spread my message on? Did I create space to allow myself to rest and to have creativity? It all comes back to how you choose to define your success. And so please don't skip over this piece. I really invite you to check in. Is it alignment with your purpose and vision? Is your purpose and vision aligned with your values? And is your values and your purpose aligned with your emotionality and your energy leadership? These are the pieces, like really bringing your why into it and really making sure, it's really what you actually desire versus what you feel like should happen. Our goals don't come into fruition oftentimes because we're actually not letting ourselves desire what we want. I know I talked about a lot of pieces today, but it's so important to start the new year on the right foot, in the right energy, and to rewrite it now. Rewrite your success. A lot of people say to rewrite your story. And I'm inviting you to rewrite your success based on what matters to you in loving devotion to yourself. And for those that what's going through your mind is that I'm already doing this, I invite you to really bring deeper layers of yourself in. And when you feel that you're in that expansion and feeling the gratitude and joy in creating your goal and you really feel it in your body, I invite you to allow yourself to stay there even more and go to the edge of that vision. Allow yourself to be in that space. And I'm curious what you will see. And anyone can do that. Because oftentimes, what is in the realm of intangible possibility that we cannot see will come through the space of meditation and inner journey, right? In the new year, I plan to run an experiential workshop where we get to dive into these pieces together, where we go into actually embodying your desires and your vision. And so that the energetics that I hold, the space that I hold, can really ground you deeper into that. If it's something you're interested in, definitely message me the word. And when you do that, I'll definitely reach out to you and let you know the details. I'm definitely feeling that come up in my visions again and again. So it's definitely something I'm in creation of at the moment, and you'll definitely learn about it. So feel free to come into my Facebook group, message me in social media so that you could stay tuned to all that's coming up. I also have what is called What Your Face Says About Your Self-Leadership. And that's a place where you could dive deeper into where you are leading from within yourself as it's expressed through what your own face says. And so there's a few different resources and opportunities here. So I invite you to explore down in the show notes. And I look forward to hearing how this went for you, hearing about what this brought up for you and how this has served you, and to rewriting your year starting now in January 1st, and sending you lots of love. And I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. And leave us a review so others can find the life-changing content that we're sharing here. We are starting our movement on our way to number 1, and we need your help to get there. If you'd like to connect with other high-achieving entrepreneurs and leaders who are also on their authentic, energetic leadership journey, join our free Facebook community, Energetically Aligned Leaders. Go to pathtotheheart.com/links to join the Facebook group, book your personalized face analysis experience, or to access our resources.